no contact is not enough, you can disappear, block, delete, and vanish from his world. But if all you do is hide in silence while still replaying the memories in your mind, then nothing truly changes. No contact isn't about punishing him or making him miss you. It's about transforming yourself so deeply that when he finally looks back, he doesn't recognize the person he once took for granted. See, distance alone doesn't create desire. What creates desire is the energy shift that happens when you stop needing him to validate your worth. When you stop asking, will he come back? And start asking, why did I ever settle for less than I deserve? That's when the balance of power changes. That's when he feels the loss, not just of your presence, but of your energy, your softness, your laughter, your warmth. The truth is, no contact is just step one. The real work begins when you start focusing on you, your growth, your passions, your peace. When you wake up and pour that love you gave him back into yourself, go to the gym, travel, laugh with friends, chase your dreams, do the things you put on hold. Because when you stop orbiting around him, he'll feel that shift in gravity. He'll feel the silence that used to be filled with your attention. And here's the secret most people miss: you can't fake it. You can't post happiness just to make him jealous. You have to live it. You have to genuinely rebuild your joy until it radiates from you naturally. That's what he feels from afar, the glow of someone who's moved on not in anger, but in peace. When you reach that place, you don't react to his messages with excitement or resentment. You respond, or you don't, with calm neutrality. You've outgrown the version of yourself that needed him. And that calm confidence, that's magnetic. It makes him question his choices. It makes him wonder what changed. Recreate your life's energy. Try new things, wear new colors, move differently, speak differently. Not for him, for you. The more you evolve, the more the universe mirrors it back. Suddenly, opportunities appear, new people notice you, and you realize that he was never the source of your happiness. You were. If he comes back, let him see the difference. Let him feel that access to you is not a guarantee anymore. You are not waiting in the same place where he left you. If he wants a second chance, it has to be earned with effort, honesty, and growth. Because now you know your worth and you won't accept anything less than emotional consistency and genuine love. So, no contact is not enough. You have to rise. You have to evolve. You have to let your silence be filled with transformation. And when you do, he'll feel it. Not through your absence, but through the undeniable presence of your strength, your peace, and your power. That's how you let him feel it, not by disappearing, but by becoming everything you were meant to be. Without him, no contact is just step one. The real work is internal. Many people believe that cutting off communication will magically make the other person miss them or come running back. But silence alone doesn't heal the wounds. It only creates space for healing to begin. What truly matters is what you do within that silence. The emotional journey that follows no contact determines whether you truly move on or stay stuck in the same cycle of pain and longing. When you go no contact, your mind may initially focus on the absence of the person. You may check your phone, replay conversations, or imagine scenarios where they finally realize your worth. But here's the truth: if all you do during this time is wait for them to notice your silence, you're still emotionally dependent on them. You haven't taken your power back. You've just gone quiet while still living in reaction to their actions. The real transformation begins when you redirect all that emotional energy inward and start asking deeper questions. Why did I accept less than I deserve? Why did I feel the need to chase someone who wasn't showing up for me? What part of me was afraid to let go completely? Answering these questions isn't comfortable. It requires honesty, self-reflection, and sometimes even confronting childhood wounds or patterns that have followed you into adulthood. But it's in that discomfort that you start to rebuild your sense of self. You learn that healing isn't about getting them back. It's about getting yourself back. The version of you that had dreams, passions, and confidence before the relationship consumed your focus. No contact gives you the space to rediscover who you are when you're not defined by another person's approval. It allows you to reconnect with your own energy, to listen to your intuition again, and to rebuild your emotional independence. Maybe you start journaling, meditating, spending time outdoors, or reconnecting with friends who remind you of your worth. These small acts of self-care begin to strengthen your inner world. Gradually, you stop needing their validation because you start validating yourself. The biggest mistake people make during no contact is using it as a manipulation tactic, to get a reaction, to make the other person jealous, or to provoke guilt. But when your silence has an agenda, it loses its power. True no contact means surrendering control over how they respond. You focus on healing your heart, not on controlling theirs. That's what makes the energy shift so powerful. When you're no longer emotionally attached to their response, they can feel that freedom. Ironically, that's often when they start to notice what they lost. But by then, you've already found peace within yourself. The internal work also involves rebuilding your self-esteem. After a breakup, it's easy to fall into self-blame or question your worth. You may wonder if you weren't enough, if you could have done something differently, or if they've already replaced you. But healing means understanding that your value doesn't depend on someone else's ability to recognize it. You are worthy simply because you exist. You don't need to prove it, earn it, or chase it. As you grow internally, your energy shifts from desperate to calm, from needy to fulfilled, from uncertain to self-assured. People around you can feel this change. Your posture, your voice, your aura becomes stronger and more centered. The person who once hurt you might feel it too, but by that point, their perception no longer defines your reality. No contact is just the doorway. What you do behind that door is what changes everything. You can choose to sit in silence, hoping they'll return, or you can use that silence to rebuild your strength, clarity, and self-love. When you focus on the internal work, healing your emotions, setting boundaries, and rediscovering joy, you don't just move on from them, you evolve beyond who you were when you met them. That's the true victory. Because when your peace becomes more important than their attention, you've already won. Shift focus from him to you. That's the moment everything changes. When a relationship ends, it's natural for your thoughts to keep circling back to him. You replay every conversation, every text, every moment you think you could have done differently. Your mind becomes trapped in a loop, searching for answers or closure that may never come. But the truth is, the more energy you invest in thinking about him, the more power you give away. Healing begins the moment you redirect that energy back where it belongs, on yourself. Focusing on him keeps you emotionally tied to the past. It's like watering a dead plant and expecting it to grow again. When you constantly check his social media, wonder if he's moved on, or compare yourself to the people in his life, you're not only hurting your peace, you're delaying your own growth. Every second spent wondering what he's doing is a second stolen from your own progress. The real strength lies in learning to withdraw your emotional investment and put that energy into rebuilding your own world. When you shift the focus to yourself, you start asking different questions. Instead of why did he treat me that way, you ask, why did I stay in a situation that didn't honor me? Instead of is he thinking about me, you ask, what can I do today that makes me feel alive again? These questions put the power back in your hands. They help you move from victimhood to empowerment. You start to realize that your happiness doesn't depend on anyone else's presence or absence. It depends on how much love, attention, and care you give yourself. Go back to the things that make you feel inspired. Maybe it's art, music, fitness, writing, or travel. Reconnect with friends who lift you up. Try new experiences that remind you how exciting life can be. The more you focus on creating a fulfilling life, the less space you leave for thoughts of him. The truth is, people can feel when your energy shifts. When you stop chasing, when you stop waiting, when you stop hoping for validation, something inside you changes. You begin to glow differently. You become calmer, more confident, and more magnetic, not because you're trying to get his attention, but because you're fully centered in your own. Ironically, this is often when the other person starts to notice your absence. But by then, your sense of peace will matter more than their attention ever did. Shifting focus also means breaking emotional habits that keep you tied to the past. Every time you catch yourself checking his online status or wondering what he's up to, pause and redirect that thought. Ask yourself, what do I need right now? Maybe it's rest, maybe it's movement, maybe it's laughter. Give yourself what you used to wait for him to give you. Comfort, affection, reassurance. You are fully capable of providing those things for yourself. As you make yourself the center of your world again, you'll start noticing how much time and energy you've been giving away without realizing it. You'll see that the love you once poured into him was never wasted. It just needs to be rerouted. That same love, when given to yourself, becomes the fuel that rebuilds your confidence, your boundaries, and your emotional freedom. The beauty of shifting focus is that it doesn't just heal your heart. It transforms your entire outlook on life. You stop chasing external validation and start realizing that peace comes from within. You become grounded in your own worth, knowing that anyone who wants to be in your life must meet you at that level of respect and energy. You'll no longer accept crumbs because you've learned how good it feels to give yourself the whole loaf. So stop wondering what he's doing, thinking, or feeling. That's his journey. Your journey is right here in front of you. Pour into yourself until you're overflowing. Build a life so rich, so full, that even your silence speaks volumes. When you shift focus from him to you, you stop surviving heartbreak and start thriving beyond it. That's where true power begins. Just become emotionally neutral. That's where true strength lies. After a breakup or emotional disappointment, most people swing between extremes. One moment they miss him desperately, The next they feel angry or bitter. This emotional roller coaster is exhausting and keeps you stuck in the past. Emotional neutrality doesn't mean you stop caring or forget what happened. It means you reach a point where his presence or absence no longer controls your inner state. It's the peace that comes when you're no longer driven by reaction but guided by self-respect. At first, emotional neutrality can feel impossible. You might think, how can I not care about someone who once meant everything to me? But neutrality isn't coldness, it's clarity. It's when you can remember the relationship without pain, look back on the good and bad with balance, and see the situation for what it was, not what you hoped it would be. It's when your emotions stop dictating your behavior and you start responding with composure instead of impulse. When you're emotionally reactive, every text, social media post, or memory becomes a trigger. You overthink, analyze, and spiral. But when you're emotionally neutral, those same things lose their power. His messages don't cause anxiety, they're just words. His silence doesn't hurt, it simply is what it is. You stop chasing meaning in his actions because you've learned to find meaning in your own peace. Becoming emotionally neutral begins with acceptance. Acceptance that things ended the way they did, that you can't control his choices, and that closure doesn't always come from conversation. It comes from understanding. Acceptance allows you to release the resistance that keeps pain alive. You stop wishing things were different and start focusing on how to grow from what they were. That's when neutrality starts to form quietly, steadily within you. To reach that point, you have to process your emotions instead of suppressing them. Cry when you need to. Journal your thoughts. Talk to trusted friends. Feel it all, but don't let it define you. Emotional neutrality is not about pretending you're fine when you're not. It's about feeling everything fully so that one day it no longer controls you. Healing doesn't come from denial, it comes from release. As time passes and you continue to invest in your own growth, you'll notice your emotional reactions fading. You won't feel that familiar rush of pain when you hear his name. You won't feel the urge to check his profile or decode his actions. Instead, you'll feel calm, detached, free. That's emotional neutrality. It's not indifference, it's inner mastery. It's when you finally understand that peace is more valuable than drama and that no one is worth losing your balance over. This neutrality is powerful because it shifts the dynamic completely. People sense when they can no longer affect you emotionally. The moment he realizes that his words, silence, or attention don't sway you anymore, he feels the difference. But here's the beauty of it. By that point, you won't be doing it to make him feel anything. You'll be doing it because you genuinely value your emotional stability above all else. Emotional neutrality also means detaching from outcomes. You stop expecting him to apologize, change, or return. You stop waiting for life to unfold in a specific way. Instead, you learn to trust the process. You know that what's meant for you won't need to be forced or chased. That mindset allows you to flow through life with ease and confidence. When you're emotionally neutral, love no longer feels like chaos, it feels like choice. You choose who gets your time, your attention, and your energy. You stop reacting and start deciding. You stop being pulled by memories and start being guided by purpose. You realize that you can love someone and still let them go, that you can remember them and still move forward. Becoming emotionally neutral is not the end of feeling. It's the beginning of emotional maturity. It's when you've healed enough to understand that your peace is sacred. Nothing and no one should have the power to disturb it again. When you reach that place, you don't need to prove anything, chase anyone, or seek closure. You simply exist in calm strength, knowing that you've outgrown the chaos that once consumed you. That's when you truly become untouchable. Recreate your life's vibe. That's the stage where healing turns into transformation. After heartbreak or loss, many people stay stuck in the energy of what was. They keep living in the same patterns, wearing the same clothes, going to the same places, listening to the same sad songs that remind them of him. Without realizing it, they keep their environment emotionally frozen in time. But when you decide to recreate your life's vibe, you start shifting not just your routine, but your energy. You begin to build a new atmosphere around yourself, one that reflects growth, peace, and renewal rather than pain and attachment. The energy you live in shapes your emotions more than you think. When your surroundings still echo the past, you subconsciously keep reliving it. That's why the first step to recreating your vibe is to change your environment. Rearrange your room. Get rid of things that carry emotional weight, old photos, gifts, or clothes that keep you anchored to old memories. Replace them with things that inspire new feelings, fresh colors, uplifting music, scents that make you feel alive again. These small physical changes begin to signal to your mind that a new chapter has begun. But recreating your vibe isn't just about aesthetics, it's about energy. The way you walk, talk, dress, and carry yourself, it all sends a message to the world, and more importantly, to your subconscious mind. When you start living like the healed version of yourself, your emotions begin to align with that identity. Maybe you change your morning routine, start working out, learn something new, or explore hobbies you once set aside. Each new habit becomes a building block for your new energy. You begin to realize that your vibe is magnetic. The energy you radiate draws certain experiences and people into your life. When your energy is heavy, you attract confusion, drama, and stagnation. But when it's light, peaceful, and confident, you attract clarity, opportunities, and people who match your new frequency. That's why recreating your vibe is more than a surface level glow up. It's an energetic realignment. Your vibe also reflects how you feel about yourself internally. If you carry sadness or resentment, it shows in your tone, your posture, your presence. But as you heal and redirect that energy into self-love, something shifts. You start smiling more, standing taller, speaking with confidence. You stop seeking validation from others because you've built it within yourself. This shift doesn't go unnoticed. People around you can feel it. Even the person who once hurt you might sense that you've changed, but by then, their opinion no longer defines your worth. Recreating your life's vibe also means surrounding yourself with the right energy. Spend time with people who inspire and uplift you, not those who keep reminding you of your pain. Engage in experiences that challenge you, excite you, and expand your comfort zone. The more you evolve, the more your life begins to mirror your inner growth. You start to realize that the world didn't shrink when he left. You simply needed to step outside the limits of that old version of yourself. It's also important to nurture your inner world. Meditation, gratitude, and self-reflection can help align your emotions with the peace you're trying to create externally. When you start your day with intention, maybe writing down what you're thankful for or setting a goal that excites you, you're taking control of your energy. Each day becomes an opportunity to create a life that feels good from the inside out. Over time, you'll notice that your vibe becomes your protection. You won't need to prove your worth or chase attention because your energy will speak for you. You'll walk into rooms differently. You'll attract people who see your value without you having to convince them. And that's when you'll understand that recreating your life's vibe isn't about getting someone back. It's about becoming someone who no longer needs to. Recreating your vibe is an act of self-love and self-respect. It's how you tell the universe, I'm ready for better. You're no longer living in reaction to what happened. You're creating from a place of power. And as your energy evolves, life will respond in kind. New opportunities, connections, and blessings will begin to appear because your frequency now matches abundance, not pain. That's the beauty of energy. When you shift yours, everything else must shift too. So don't stay in the same emotional space where the breakup left you. Change the scenery, change the energy, change the story. Recreate your life's vibe until you wake up one day and realize you've completely outgrown the version of yourself that once cried over him. You've become someone new, someone whole, radiant, and unstoppable. Social proof and joy are irresistible. They speak louder than any words, louder than any attempt to reach out or explain your worth. After a breakup or emotional disappointment, it's natural to want to prove something. You want him to see what he lost, to regret how he treated you, to realize your value. But the truth is, you don't have to prove anything directly. The most powerful statement you can make is through the life you live after him, a life that radiates genuine happiness, growth, and fulfillment. That's what people feel. That's what makes them think, wonder, and sometimes even miss what they once took for granted. Social proof isn't about pretending or playing games. It's about showing through your actions that you are moving forward, evolving, and thriving. When others see you living fully, smiling naturally, and embracing life again, it creates a powerful emotional contrast. You go from being the person who was hurt or heartbroken to the person who rose healed and built something beautiful from the pain. That transformation is magnetic, not because you're trying to make him jealous, but because authentic joy can't be ignored. Joy is energy. It's contagious, and it shifts the way people perceive you. When you're genuinely happy, your energy changes. You laugh more easily, you attract better company, and your life starts to flow with new opportunities. That's what makes joy so irresistible. It draws people in effortlessly. And the irony is, the moment you stop caring whether he sees it or not is often when he starts to notice. Because real joy can't be faked, and people can sense when it's real. This kind of social proof isn't about curated perfection on social media. It's about authenticity. It's about sharing your growth naturally, photos of you doing new things, connecting with new people, exploring places, learning, laughing. Not to make anyone feel anything, but because that's your reality now. You're living again, not just existing. You're no longer defined by who you lost, but by who you've become. The reason this has such an impact is psychological. People feel drawn to those who are happy and fulfilled. It's human nature. We're wired to be attracted to positive energy. When he sees you living with confidence, peace, and purpose, he feels the absence of that energy in his own life. He starts to realize that the version of you he once knew is gone, replaced by someone who glows differently. That realization often triggers reflection, not because you chased him, because your growth makes him question his own. But this power only works when it's genuine. Pretending to be happy while still secretly waiting for him to notice doesn't create real attraction. It creates tension and inauthenticity. The goal isn't to make him jealous. The goal is to make yourself free. Your happiness should never depend on how someone else reacts to it. Live your life for you, not as a performance, but as an expression of who you truly are when you're no longer burdened by pain. When you choose joy, you shift your vibration. You move from sadness to gratitude, from resentment to freedom. You start noticing small blessings again, the warmth of the sun, laughter with friends, the peace of your own company. That energy naturally draws more good into your life because joy multiplies whatever it touches. And the more you lean into that, the less you'll even care about proving your worth to anyone. Social proof also reminds you of your value in a practical way. As you reconnect with people, meet new friends, or even attract romantic attention, you begin to see yourself through fresh eyes. You realize that you are desirable, interesting, and lovable not because someone from your past said so, but because it's evident in the way others respond to your energy. That validation isn't your goal, but it reinforces a truth you may have forgotten: you were always enough. So let your life become the evidence. Let your smile be the message. Let your peace speak for itself. You don't need to reach out, argue, or prove anything. Just live beautifully and let your happiness echo louder than your silence. When he sees you thriving, he'll feel it, not through guilt or manipulation, but through the undeniable realization that he lost someone who found herself. Social proof and joy are irresistible because they come from alignment. When you're aligned with your purpose, your peace, and your power, no one can ignore that energy. It's radiant, it's confident, and it's free. That's the kind of energy that not only makes others take notice, it changes your entire life. And once you reach that place, you'll understand that the goal was never to make him feel the loss. The goal was to make yourself feel whole again. Stay unavailable unless he steps up, because access to you should be a privilege, not a guarantee. After a breakup or emotional disappointment, there often comes a moment when he reaches out again. Maybe he sends a casual message, likes your posts, or tries to test the waters to see if you're still emotionally available. In that moment, your response determines everything. If you immediately reply, act excited, or fall back into old patterns, you send the message that your boundaries were temporary. But when you stay calm, detached, and selective with your energy, he realizes that the version of you who tolerated inconsistency no longer exists. Being unavailable doesn't mean playing games or pretending you don't care. It means recognizing your worth and refusing to entertain half-hearted effort. When someone has shown you that they can live without prioritizing you, it's not your job to make it easy for them to return on their terms. If he truly wants to be back in your life, he must come with growth, clarity, and consistency. Anything less is just a repeat of the past. Staying unavailable until he steps up communicates self-respect without you saying a word. The truth is, people value what they have to earn. When access to you is easy, effort disappears. When access requires emotional maturity and genuine change, it forces reflection. Your distance gives him space to evaluate his actions and understand the weight of losing you. It creates contrast. He feels the difference between having your warmth and facing your absence. And that difference is what often wakes someone up to the reality of their choices. But staying unavailable isn't just about him, it's about protecting your peace. It's a boundary that guards you from falling back into cycles that hurt you before. If he reaches out but still offers the same confusion, mixed signals, or emotional crumbs, you owe it to yourself to stay detached. You can respond with grace, but not with availability. You can be kind without being accessible, because your peace matters more than temporary comfort. This kind of emotional discipline requires strength. There will be moments when you're tempted to reply quickly, to believe that his message means he's changed. But remember, words are easy, consistency is rare. Real change shows through actions repeated over time. Staying unavailable until he proves that growth teaches both of you something: you learn patience and self-control, and he learns that your love is valuable and cannot be taken for granted. During this phase, focus on yourself even more deeply. Pour your energy into your goals, your friendships, your passions. Live a life so full that his reappearance feels like an option, not a necessity. When he sees that you're not waiting, that your happiness doesn't depend on him, it creates a powerful shift in dynamic. It shows that you've evolved beyond needing reassurance from him. That's when he feels the true impact of your absence, not because you're punishing him, but because your energy has moved on. If he truly wants another chance, let him earn it. That means effort, accountability, and consistency over time. Don't fall for temporary charm or emotional nostalgia. Emotional maturity means recognizing patterns. If his behavior looks the same, the outcome will too. Make it clear through your actions that your boundaries are permanent. Lips, not situational. You're no longer open to being an option or an emotional safety net. You're available only for someone who shows up with intention and respect. When you stay unavailable, unless he steps up, you shift from seeking love to attracting it. You stop begging for effort and start embodying the energy that naturally demands it. You no longer need to convince anyone of your worth. Your standards speak for you. And if you can't rise to meet them, you'll keep walking forward without regret, because by this point, your peace, confidence, and self-love will matter more than the comfort of old familiarity. The right person will never be scared off by your boundaries. They'll appreciate them because they'll see them as a reflection of your value. Staying unavailable weeds out the inconsistent, the half-hearted, and the emotionally immature. It leaves space only for those who are willing to meet you where you are, not where you used to be. So when he reaches out, don't rush. Observe, not react. Stay calm, grounded, and centered in your self-worth. If he wants another chance, he'll show it through consistent action. If he doesn't, your life will continue thriving without interruption. Either way, you win. Because staying unavailable until he steps up isn't about withholding love. It's about honoring yourself enough to only accept the kind of love that truly matches your growth. At the end of it all, remember this: no contact was never the real goal. Growth was. Silence alone doesn't change anything unless you use it to rebuild yourself from the inside out. You began by stepping back, but the real transformation came when you looked inward, shifted focus from him to you, and took your power back piece by piece. You stopped reacting and started healing. You stopped waiting and started living. You stopped needing and started becoming. Through every phase, learning to stay emotionally neutral, recreating your life's energy, rediscovering joy, and protecting your peace, you didn't just move on from him. You rose into a stronger version of yourself. The version that no longer settles for confusion or half-love. The version that knows silence isn't punishment. It's clarity. And that's the message he will feel, even if you never say a word. He'll feel it in your peace, in your glow, in your energy that no longer reaches out for him. But more importantly, you will feel it. The freedom that comes when your heart no longer chases closure or validation. You'll understand that letting go wasn't about losing someone. It was about finding yourself again. So no contact is not enough. You must transform in the quiet. You must rise in the stillness. You must build a life so fulfilling that you no longer care who watches. That is how you let him feel it. Not through absence, but through evolution. Because the most powerful thing you can ever do is become everything you were meant to be without needing him to see it. That's not revenge. That's rebirth.